Hi, I'm Jordi Amat. You are listening to La Liga Lowdown.
Hi, I'm Luis Garcia, and you're listening to La Liga Lowdown.
Hi, I'm Carlos Soler, and this is La Liga Lowdown.
And I'm David Garrido. Welcome along to this La Liga Lowdown mini-pod with Ray Stakhanov and broadcast on SiriusXM FC 157 in North America. Well, we pretty much had it all on Matchday 11 in Spain's top division, especially late goals. 2 in 5 minutes saved Barcelona from an embarrassing defeat, while 2 more in 8 minutes meant that Real Madrid finally got a La Liga win. Here's Ewan.
In a game like this, when it's 0-0 with 10 minutes to go and the jar of pickles just won't open, Vinícius can come in, frighten the fullback and kick the jar of pickles off a defender's back and into the net.
Atletico Madrid were held, but early surprise package Espanyol keep their home winning streak going, beating Athletic Club in the Monday night game, watched by Roman.
If I have to point someone out, it would probably be Borja Iglesias. He's already scored 6 goals in the first 11 games, so he's a striker we'll surely be talking about during the rest of the season.
Valencia are struggling, and so are Villarreal. Pressure then on Javi Calleja, according to our Paco.
It's not only a matter of confidence. Since forward Cedric Bakambu was sold 1 year ago to the Chinese league, no reliable striker has been able to fill the void he left.
Betis and Celta served up a belter, and the mini-Bas derby wasn't bad either. Eibar beating Alavés for a much-needed victory. Here's Alex.
Mendilibar got his subs just right, especially bringing on Marco Cucurella straight after the red card. He brought a lot, including the assist for Jordan's equaliser.
Plus, we'll have your 3-word verdicts. That's all coming up. Well, we have to start at Vallecas, where the champions Barcelona had the fright of their season and only just beat Rayo Vallecano 3-2 away from home in the Spanish capital. Despite taking the lead through Luis Suárez early on, a long ball forward from Ivan Rakitic to Jordi Alba, who pulled it back from the byline for the Uruguayan. Well, Rayo then equalised through José Ángel Pozo, a superb right foot curling strike from the edge of the box, in off the foot of Marc-Andre ter Stegen's left-hand post. Suárez then hit the frame of the goal just before half-time, but after it, Rayo went 2-1 up. This time, Álvaro Garcia following up to tap in after Raúl de Tomás's header had come back off the near post. But then, in the last 5 minutes of this game,
players gather their thoughts, fans gather their thoughts. Dembele, that's a great finish. Well, in all honesty, he's not done much, but that was a measured half volley from Ousmane Dembele, and Barcelona have themselves on terms. Oh, in goes Suárez! Barcelona have pinched it. Remarkable turnaround in the closing minutes, but that's what the top teams do. The Rayo Vallecano players and supporters and coach cannot believe what they've witnessed here. The home side have put so much into the contest. It looks as though they're going to pull up short and empty-handed.
Yes, that's how the last couple of goals went in on 11 Sports in the UK, and you've got to feel for Rayo, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, with their coach Michel claiming that the game was lost on small details and that he feels wounded that the points escaped their grasp in that fashion. And indeed, the Barcelona head coach Ernesto Valverde mentioned that he'd seen the ghosts of Butarque, Leganés' home ground, appear in that second half. Remember, they had held a lead away to Leganés and ended up losing that game. Dembele's strike was a sumptuous half volley. Suárez's second of the game was a sliding finish at the far post to win it. He is the new leader of the Pichichi in La Liga with 9 goals. He's now got 6 in his last 4 games in all competitions. Well, since the last international break, it is 5 wins in a row now for Barcelona. But how ironic that after beating Sevilla, Inter Milan and Real Madrid relatively comfortably, they've needed late goals to defeat Cultural Leonesa in the Copa last week and now Rayo. Well, Rakitic said winning in this way strengthens the team, and something that does that even more is the return of Lionel Messi after fracturing his arm. Whether it be in the return Champions League fixture against Inter, or Sunday's game with Real Betis, or even after the next international break, well, Barca have coped admirably without him, but boy will they be pleased to see him back. Drama then for the champions, and for Real Madrid, there was a legend in attendance with Ronaldo Nazario, or Fenomeno, returning to the Estadio Bernabeu as the majority shareholder of Real Valladolid, as Santi Solari made his first appearance in the home dugout. Well, thankfully for Madridistas, they finally won in La Liga for the first time in 6 games, beating Valladolid 2-0, but it could have been so different. Nothing doing in the first half, save for Karim Benzema tickling the post and Antoñito dinking over the bar for the visitors, but in the second, Casemiro forced a save save from Valladolid keeper Jordi Masip with an effort from the edge of the box, while La Pucela hit the bar twice through Ruben Largaraz and then Tony Milla. On came Vinícius Júnior for Marco Asensio in the 73rd minute, and 10 minutes after that he cut in from the left in between a number of purple Valladolid shirts, and what was a bit of a wayward effort was deflected in off Kiko Olivas for an own goal. Then Benzema was upended by Fernando Calero late on, and Sergio Ramos panenkered the resulting penalty into the net for 2-0. Relief then for Madrid, for Santi Solari too, but all the talk after the game was about teenage Brazilian Vinícius Júnior, whose introduction certainly had a significant impact. Let's speak to La Liga Lowdown's Ewan McTeer about this then. Ewan, just what has Vinícius added in his mere 119 minutes on the pitch with the first team?
Vinícius adds something different. He adds an element of width and directness that perhaps only Lucas Vázquez can offer out of all the other players in the Real Madrid squad. While his shot for the own goal that he provoked was probably going embarrassingly off target, at least he'd beaten a few defenders, and at least he had the confidence to shoot, something too few Real Madrid players have been doing in recent weeks. There's still a long way for him to go, and Santiago Solari knows this better than anyone, having been working with him closely with Castilla, the B team. I found it interesting what Solari said after the game about his instructions to Vinícius. "I told him to be bold and to take people on, which is what he knows what to do," the coach said in the press conference, before adding, "I also told him to defend, something which there is a need to tell him." So Vinícius is raw and maybe defensively not disciplined, and Solari knows this. But in a game like this, when it's 0-0 with 10 minutes to go and the jar of pickles just won't open, Vinícius can come in, frighten the fullback and kick the jar of pickles off a defender's back and into the net. It's not super methodical, but you get to eat your pickles.
Okay, I see what you did there. But what about Santi Solari generally, Ewan? What have we discovered in this interim reign so far about how he likes to play his football and how the players are responding to that?
We've discovered that Solari is keeping things simple, both in terms of tactics and in terms of team selection. Tactically, there's been a move back to the plan of the past few years, which was to get the ball out wide and to whip it into the area. There were 44 crosses in this match against Real Valladolid, way up from their season average of 26.5 crosses per game. Even against Melilla, 3 of the 4 goals in the 4-0 win came from crosses from out wide and into the area. This is quite different from the Julen Lopetegui approach, where he wanted his team to play short, passing, possession football. Then there's a team selection element, where Solari has been making logical choices. For example, playing backup right back Alvaro Odriozola in place of the injured Dani Carvajal, and playing backup left back Sergio Reguilón in place of the injured Marcelo, rather than using players like Nacho or Lucas Vázquez, who aren't natural fullbacks. Basically, he's not trying to be too smart, something Lopetegui was perhaps guilty of on occasion. So far we've seen that Real Madrid make a bit more sense under Solari, although it is of course early days.
Thank you for that, Ewan. Well, this was also our Partidazo Predictions choice on our YouTube channel. This is a regular video we do each and every Friday to preview what we see as the big game of the weekend in La Liga. So simply go to www.youtube.com/c/La Liga Lowdown, or just put La Liga Lowdown into your search engine. There's plenty there. The rapid roundup on a Monday. We also put this podcast on the channel midweek. There's our stadium sit-downs every couple of weeks or so, and our exclusive interviews, the latest of which was with former Barcelona striker Patrick Kluivert ahead of El Clásico. It's all there, so go check it out. But as far as the Partidazo predictions are concerned, both Ewan and Paco Bolit went for a 2-0 scoreline at the Bernabeu. So they get 3 points for the exactly right scoreline, while Roman de Arquer, Alex Johnson and myself all had Madrid to win. It's just that we didn't get the score correct, so just the 1 point apiece. So the overall table looks like this. Paco is on 13 points, Ewan 12, then there's a gap to Roman, who goes to 6. Alex and I have 5 points. We're going to have to start predicting that score exactly very, very soon indeed. And while the big two were scoring late goals, Atletico were letting them in as they once again surrendered a 1-0 lead, this time at Leganés. Antoine Griezmann's opener at Butarque was a belting free kick from all of 30 yards out. But whereas Atleti used to be good at defending leads and were the kings of set pieces, they didn't defend one well on 82 minutes when Rodri Tarín stole in at the far post and diverted the ball against the crossbar, and Guido Carrillo pounced on the rebound from a yard out to make it 1-1. It's the third time this season that Atleti have failed to see out a 1-0 scoreline away from home. Well, Diego Simeone said that his side's second-half performance was as he'd wanted it to be, but that they knew that Leganés had come from behind at home before in big games, and that this coming week, well, they would have to correct the mistakes they made during the game. Darín, who assisted Lega's equaliser, said the next step was to replicate their Butarque form, just one defeat in 7 in all competitions, in their away games. Well, they pick up a vital point, but they remain in that bottom 3 in the table. Now, could Sevilla keep up their strong run of form? Well, they didn't lose at Real Sociedad in a game where the defences dominated, as a 0-0 scoreline would suggest, but perhaps the visitors did have the clearer chances. Luis Muriel with a first-half goal ruled out for offside, Ever Banega forced a save from Miguel Ángel Moya as well, Jesus Navas shot wide, while Adnan Januzaj was the most dangerous player for La Real. The Sevilla coach Pablo Machin said afterwards they hadn't been as clinical from their counter-attacks as in previous games, but that what we saw on the pitch really did reflect the scoreline, a largely forgettable match. Perhaps the most significant thing was the banners and support for Academy graduate Lucas Angali, who during the week had had a mild stroke and had been recovering in hospital. Even in a Segunda División game, his brother Marcos Angali scored for Alcorcón, and he held up a shirt with his brother's name on it. For Asier Garitano's side, they still haven't won yet at their stadium since it was refurbished and spruced up. Played 5, won none, drawn 3, lost 2, and they sit 13th. Sevilla are third, level on points with Atletico and Alavés, and 4 behind Barcelona. And the reason that Sevilla aren't second anymore is because Espanyol are. They beat Athletic Club at the Ercilla Stadium in the Monday night game. 1-0 was enough for Rubi's side, the goal coming just before half-time through Borja Iglesias again as he headed home across from Didac Villa, wrong-footing the Athletic keeper Iago Herrerín, his 4th goal in 3 league games and 6th overall this season. Iñaki Williams then struck the post a couple of minutes later for Athletic. Raúl García forced a save from Diego López before half-time. In the second half, Sergio Garcia and Borja again had chances to score a second. Athletic brought on Munain and Marquez Usaeta, but neither really made a difference, and they'd suffered the misfortune of losing Yeray Alvarez after barely a quarter of an hour because of injury. Our man in Catalonia, Roman Derquet, watched this game. Roman, that is 5 home wins in a row for Espanyol. They're the only team with a 100% home record in Spain's top division. They've gone back second in the table. It's a fantastic start. So how have they done it, and who've been the standout players for Rubi?
Espanyol's surprising yet excellent start to the season is definitely a team effort led by Rubi. One of the keys to achieving this, as you just mentioned, is their consistency at the RCD Stadium. They've won all 5 games, but if you look even closer, they've scored 8 goals at home and only conceded 1. Rubi has revived the team since his arrival with fresh ideas and lots of new energy and motivation. I think the psychological aspect has been such an important factor, because let's remember that most of the players in that team are the same as last season. But he's also made a few wise tweaks in the formation and style of play, with an offensive 4-3-3 and defending with a 4-5-1 where the 2 open forwards are very devoted to helping at the back, which the team has quickly adapted to. So it's hard to pick just a few players because they're all playing at an incredibly high level. But if I have to point someone out, it'll probably be Borja Iglesias. Coming from Segunda División, he's already scored 6 goals in the first 11 games, 2 more than Gerard Moreno at this point last year. So he's a striker we'll surely be talking about during the rest of the season.
Cheers, Roman. That is it for the first part of this LaLiga Lowdown mini-pod. Plenty to come in part 2, where the white hankies have been out at Valencia. We discuss if Villarreal's coach is on the brink, and we relive another late plot twist, this time in Seville. See you very shortly. Welcome back to this LaLiga Lowdown mini-pod with Radio Stakhanov and broadcast on SiriusXM FC 157 in North America. We continue with a mini Basque derby featuring 2 red cards, 3 goals, 4 yellow cards, lots of VAR interventions, and the end of Alavés' latest little unbeaten run. And that was despite them taking the lead against Eibar inside 4 minutes through their captain Manu Garcia with the help of the video assistant referee. And then came the sendings off. Ruben Duarte for the visitors in the first half, Pablo de Blasis for the hosts in the second, again both VAR assisted, but only 7 minutes after the numbers had been levelled up, so were the scores. Joan Jordan with a superb strike, and from then on, Eibar were more likely to win, which they did with Papa Diop's powerful header in the 90th minute, his first goal in 2.5 years. It was a real ding-dong battle, this, and 3 vital points for Los Armeros. Alex Johnson is our lady in the north of Spain. So, Alex, how much of a relief was this victory for Eibar after their recent results, and exactly how did José Luis Mendilibar handle this match overall?
It was definitely a big relief. The 4-0 defeat to Celta was a bit harsh, but going from that to a 2-0 defeat in the Copa at Sporting, ouch. After that match, Mendilibar was brutally honest, saying he was surprised to see his team had been so bad. That might have been the wake-up call they needed, because even though Alavés had the lead for a long time, Eibar were the better side at the Ipurúa, and Alavés captain Manu Garcia said afterwards that the home side had very much deserved that win. Mendilibar got his subs just right, especially bringing on Marco Cucurella straight after the red card. He brought a lot, including the assist for Jordan's equalizer, and Papa Diop got the winner, his first goal since April 2016. Well, goals are what Eibar have been missing this season, so getting a few new names on the score sheet is needed. Next up are trips to Valladolid and Rayo, so Eibar need to keep the same fighting spirit they showed in the derby to take points in those matches.
Cheers for that, Alex. So first defeat in 5 for Alavés, and midfielder Tomás Pina also suffered a tear in his right hamstring, but still it has been some campaign so far. Let's hear from one of the Alavés fans. This is Diego Pau.
We're all very happy, even surprised. And since Abelardo took the control of the team, we're doing Champions League numbers. Ibai Gomez is in a fantastic moment. He was very, very important in a good number of games this season. But players like Fernando Pacheco, Victor Laguardia, or captain Manu Garcia are for me the real heart of this team. They always give that extra motivation in the field to fight until the last second of every match.
From a feisty Basque battle to a mad match at the Estadio Vitoria Marín, a topsy-turvy 3-3 draw between Real Betis and Celta Vigo. The first goal to the hosts, a swift move from the back for once, from Pau Lopez via Francis and Giovanni Lo Celso to Loren. Junior made it 2-0 after half-time. But the Celta response was immediate after Maxi Gomez replaced Emre Mor. The young Uruguayan glanced in ahead of a 2-1. Brais Mendes then teed himself up for a volley for 2-2. Celta lost their coach Antonio Mohamed, sent to the stands as yellow and red cards threatened to overshadow the game's quality. But Andrew Hjulsager's cross was touched in by Maxi in the 83rd minute, and it looked like Celta had pulled off a miraculous comeback in Seville. But still there was time for another twist, and how? Free kick, 35 yards out, Sergio Canales over it.
No Betis players in that wall, it's going to be Canales up and over, and it's not a bad hit! And they're back level, and that is a wonderful, wonderful strike! Over the top of the wall, beyond the reach of Sergio Alvarez. Game of the weekend is Betis 3, Celta de Vigo 3.
Yet another late goal, one which earns Betis a point and halts their losing La Liga run at 3 matches, even though Quique Setién said that the game was hard to control when it was end to end. And things really do get tough now. They face AC Milan at home on Thursday in the Europa League, then Barcelona away and Villarreal away in La Liga, before taking on Olympiacos once again at home in Europe. Celta's Antonio Mohamed explained his sending off for complaining that Betis had been hiding the balls when 2-0 up, and how come they weren't doing it anymore when it was 2-2. Still, this revitalised Celta side sits snugly in mid-table, with Betis just a point behind. Well, for Valencia, things have reached crisis point. If you saw our Twitter feed over the weekend, and we are at LaLiga Lowdown on Twitter, you'll have seen that we recorded a video of the white handkerchiefs being waved at the full-time whistle all over Mestalla after they lost at home to Girona by a 1-0. What's even more galling for fans of Los Che is that they had 27 attempts at goal in this game. 27, of which 9 were on target, but the Girona keeper Bono was utterly brilliant, denying Rodrigo twice, Gonzalo Guedes twice, Santi Mina and Francis Coquelin as well. And the one time that Bono was beaten by Jeffrey Kondogbia, well, Jose Luis Galla's assist was adjudged to be out of play by VAR, so the goal didn't even count. And Kondogbia gave the ball away for Girona's goal from pretty much their only opportunity through Pere Pons just after half-time. Unbelievably, in their first 7 home games this season, 6 in La Liga, Valencia still haven't won. So is their coach, Marcelino, still the man? His magic touch from last season seems to have deserted him. His forwards aren't firing, his midfield isn't as balanced, and they're being exposed defensively at times too. Well, here's what Valencia fans think.
As always, in the second half, there is a lack of force in the players. They almost get tired at the minute 70 or 65. They are exhausted. And then it was a very disappointing game. The situation now is like crisis, total crisis. But just keep going.
Marcelino's going to start to be questioned quite a bit. I think every single Valencia fan at this point is starting to question him. Also questioning a few of the signings that we've made, especially when it comes to the attackers. Sasa's absence is felt at this point of the season more than ever before, I would say.
These results are unacceptable. The team is stumbling. I don't think the fitness level is there anymore, and I think the attitude is just not there. Is Marcelino the man for the job? I'm going to give him until January at least. Let's be patient a little bit, but that's about it.
Well, Villarreal also have real issues to contend with. Still no win in 5 La Liga games, and they're just keeping their heads above that relegation zone after scraping a 1-1 draw at home to Levante. Not much to report from the first half, but on 77 minutes, Jose Campaña broke through midfield, and a beautifully weighted through ball was centred by their captain, Jose Luis Morales, and Jose Ramiro Funes Mori turned it past his own keeper for Levante's opener. However, in the 3rd minute of 4 added on, Javi Calleja's side did get a point thanks to Alfonso Pedraza's run and shot to beat Oyer emphatically at his near post. Well, Levante's Paco Lopez said that he was annoyed by the result, dropping 2 points at the Estadio de la Cerámica. They are still an impressive 7th in the table, though. But how does this result leave Javi Calleja and his future at Villarreal? Well, the man to ask is La Liga Lowdown's Paco Polit.
Well, I'm not lying when I say that Javi Calleja is right now walking on the tightrope. His chances of getting sacked will keep increasing as long as his players don't just win games, but also dramatically improve their performance. It's not only a matter of confidence. Since forward Cedric Bakambu was sold 1 year ago to the Chinese League, no reliable striker has been able to fill the void he left. Gerard Moreno could be that man, but he isn't having his best season so far. The best example of Villarreal's lacking form against Levante, the best player on the pitch, was 19-year-old Nigerian midfielder Samuel Chukwueze, a relatively unknown player. Maybe because of that, he played pretty loosely, liberated from the pressure and burden of the bad streak of results. With Bruno out of the picture and also Rodri sold to Atletico last summer, not even the few minutes Santi Cazorla is playing every game might be enough to turn around the situation if the rest of the team doesn't hustle and try harder to save their manager's job.
Thanks, Paco. Well, La Liga first-timers Huesca were cruelly denied 3 points by, yep, you guessed it, a late goal. In fact, this one was also stoppage time as they drew 1-1 with a poor Getafe team. The home side have been by far the more creative at the Estadio El Alcoraz, working the Getafe keeper David Soria, who made a couple of saves either side of Xavier Cheita's goal, a header from a short corner on 50 minutes as he gave his marker the slip. Now, this would have been such a valuable win for Francisco's side, who were improving since his appointment in place of Leo Franco, but not to be. In the 91st minute, Jorge Molina did a brilliant job of holding up the ball on the edge of the 18-yard box with plenty of Huesca shirts around him, and then he forced his way into the area and finished past Alexander Jovanovic left-footed. Goals are like buses for Jorge Molina. He hadn't scored for a couple of months, and now he has 2 in as many games. Well, Jose Bordalas said that his Getafe team had grabbed a point playing badly, while Francisco said it's a tough blow to take, not just the goal, but because they produced a fantastic performance. It does affect the dressing room, he said, but they've got no other option but to get back up. So here's how the table looks after 11 games. Barcelona top on 24 points, then a trio of teams on 20 points, Sevilla second, Atletico third, Alavés fourth, then come Espanyol fifth on 19 points, Real Madrid sixth on 17 points, but with Levante, Getafe and Girona all in close attendance. It's not the company that Madrid are used to keeping. At the bottom, Huesca prop up the table with 6 points, second bottom are Rayo Vallecano also with 6 points, then come Leganés with 9, Villarreal just above the bottom 3 with 10 points, and then Atletico and Valencia with 11 points. Some big names there, and you feel managerial change can't be too far away unless fortunes change. Let's have some of your 3-word verdicts before we go. Josh Davis chose Suárez deflates Vallecas, didn't he just? Hasnain went for always watch Betis, not favourite that. And on a similar theme, Betis have arrived, is the verdict from Tapiwa Musa. Richard Kosmala said best league around. We wholeheartedly agree, Richard. Our own Baco opted for Valencia need wins. Yeah, just a bit. And Alex simply said, I love football. A quick reminder of where you can find our other content on our other platforms. Twitter for the day-to-day, even hour-by-hour updates. We are at La Liga Lowdown on Twitter, so come chat to us on social media. There's also our YouTube channel. That URL, once again, is youtube.com/C/La Liga Lowdown, or just put La Liga Lowdown into your search engine. Our website is www.laligalowdown.com, and don't forget to give us a 5-star rating for this podcast, however you listen, and tell your friends as well. That's your La Liga Lowdown. See you next time.
This was a Radio Staccato production.